Hey friends, welcome back to the Stylish Budget. Today we're sitting down for my budget with me. So what we're going to be doing is going through what I spent this week, what my income looks like, and how I'll be breaking down my bills, my fixed bills, my variable expenses, and my sinking funds. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Lori, and I share budgeting chats, saving challenges, and a little bit of soft life energy while we make our money work in style. So grab your coffee and your binder and let's get into it. All right, let's start with the damage from this week because I had a few spending moments. So let's open up our book to October. And this is a magic month for me. So I am going to be with 5 paychecks this week. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but I think what I'm going to do is put the 5th paycheck into savings and sinking funds because I really want to work on those. I have some goals coming up that I want to meet, and I think putting the extra money into sinking funds and savings would be helpful. So let's write down our income. So first we had, what am I writing? What am I writing? Income. And that is 1016. So we are going to be getting $328 from the rest of our paycheck. And just an FYI, I know I don't normally share this, but my whole paycheck is $1,500. So this is the remaining amount from once I pay my my rent and my groceries and all of the other bills that are automatically drafted. These fixed expenses that we're going over today are not automatically drafted. I have to physically go and pay them. So 328 is what we're working with for this week. So fixed expenses, I already mentioned, let me just remind myself which one it is. I already mentioned that I had to pay insurance and Blizzard. So let's write that down here. I always start with my fixed expenses first because we pay the bills first. And this is $125. And then Blizzard is $16.32. So last week, what I did was I was supposed to have a rollover, and something happened with my rollover, which is a good thing I did have the rollover there because it covered it. And that's why this week we're not working with my rollover because it paid a bill. So the insurance in Blizzard comes out to $141.32. And I think I'm going to subtract that from 328. And we'll just round this up to 142 because we don't deal with cents here. 186. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my variable expenses. So we have gas, coffee, dining out, nails, household, and fun. So normally gas would get 20. So I think I'm going to give it its usual 20. But coffee normally gets 25. So what I'm going to do is get you in a little bit closer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease this to 15. And this is why this is variable expenses, because the remaining money that we have is not enough to cover everything that we need. So the variable expenses have to be decreased so that we can we're adjusting our budget with the variable expenses so that we can afford everything. So what I'm going to do is dining out normally gets 15. We're going to give that 10. Nails, we give that 10. Household, we give 5. And fun, we give 5. Normally we give that 10, but we're going to half that. And let's see how much that is. That is 65. Whoops. What am I doing? 65. Okay. So we're going to write down 65 in the variable expense slot. That's a lot to say. Variable expense slot. I have to slow down when I'm speaking sometimes because I get tripped up with words, and you guys already know I'm a hot mess. So let's not start that today. 207 is how much the variable and the fixed expenses are. Let's take that from our total, which was 328. And we have $121 for sinking funds. Now, I know it seems like I decreased the variable expenses for sinking funds, but sinking funds are important too, because those are expenses that come up occasionally, but you want to have the money for it when they do come up. You don't want to just be surprised. You want to be able to say that I can pay this without having to break your budget. So we do want to prioritize sinking funds as well. They're just not a priority. They are a priority behind fixed expenses and variable expenses for me personally. I mean, you can do what you want, but that is the way that I prioritize it. Also, let's see which sinking funds we are going to be dealing with this week. Okay, so let's see which sinking funds we are going to be working with. As always, we're going to be doing P.O. Box, and that is going to be getting $7. Let's see. It would help if I turn to the sinking funds tracker. Walmart Plus, also $7. That's the normal. I've already predetermined how much it's going to be when I did my yearly budget. And Black Friday and Christmas get 10. And let's see how much that is. So we're going to put 121 here. And we're going to subtract every time we write down. So that we don't go over. So we still have $87. And we're going to do subscriptions, which is also getting $7. So let's take $7 off. And that leaves us with 80. The next binder, let me get my binders out. Okay, so the next binder is high priority. And what we're gonna do is, I think travel, or excuse me, vacation and new apartment rent are the most, the ones that need the most. So vacation, we'll give that, how much is already in vacation? We'll give it $6. And then new apartment rent, how much is in here? 90. Let's take $6 off of the calculator, and then new apartment rent has 90 in it, so we'll put 10. New apartment rent, 10. Okay, so that leaves us with 64. And then credit card, it's 5 as usual. And then Roth IRA also gets 5. Okay, so that leaves us with